Hello, I've done videos on Sun through the houses, and I've just finished the series on Mercury through the houses. As you know, Sun is planet of intelligence because it rules the fifth house of natural zodiac and Leo, and Mercury rules the third and the sixth. And in order to get the best out of these two houses, you need to have quite a lot of intellect and practicality. And this is the planet of Mercury is that planet of intellect. So I thought what we can do, we'll have a look at some charts and analyze their Sun and Mercury. And obviously in the sky, Sun, Moon, sorry, not Moon, Sun, Mercury and Venus, they do travel together. And clearly for love matters, it's very difficult if Sun and Venus fall into the same house. And I'm talking about sidereal zodiac, and I'm talking about equal sign size, where every house is like 30 degrees. I don't use the bothers like they do in tropical, tropical astrology. So yeah, so I just wanted to just point that out, but obviously that's difficult. But sometimes, obviously, if Venus is a house in front or house behind the Sun, that's really good. Particularly if the Venus is right, in front of the Sun. It just means that the person is much more extroverted about their love and creativity and everything. So they're more likely to just be out there, and they attract love more quickly. So let's have a look at a few charts and see what we can see. So also Mercury, bear in mind that although in the text they say that Mercury's got to be like 12 degrees or something away from the Sun, I don't really take that. I just take 6 degrees or even 8 degrees if you wanted to, if it was retrograde. So going towards the Sun, I mean. Okay, so here we have Carol Channing. So she has got Sun and Mercury together, and Sun and Mercury actually, in effect, is a really, really good sign of somebody being very, very intelligent, very intelligent. So, and in her chart, you can see Saturn is retrograde, the fifth lord, and sitting in the first house, and it's an exchange between Mercury and Saturn, and that makes both of them very, very strong. But even though Sun and Mercury are really good friends, for a Virgo ascendant, Sun is not a good planet, even though Mercury and Sun are friends, because it rules the 12th house. So that would make it really, really difficult. So it's always good to bear that in mind, really, because it's so it will mean that this is like first, 12th, first lord and 10th lord and 12th lord together. So it's going to create issues for her in those terms, and it's also going to because first house is herself, and it's going to create problems in her work environment as well. And because they're both sitting in the fifth house, and Sun rules her 12th house in the fifth house, and she's obviously an actress, Carol Channing, so it could actually give her issues with children. Maybe she might have had like a miscarriage or something, or something like that. Also, fifth house is also entertainment and media and film, so she could have had issues with work in that sense as well. So this is always worth knowing these things about it. So these are the times where you really, although it's when you first look at it, you think, wow, that's pretty amazing, but actually how amazing is that? We just got to see that properly, really. Have a look at Chris Rock. Chris Rock is Libra ascendant, and and she's got like Venus, which is first and eighth lord, together with Mercury and the Sun. So this Mercury and Sun together, you can see that what's happening is Mercury is the ninth and the 12th lord, sitting with the Sun. Sun will be like the 11th lord. In fact, despite the fact that they're both 8th lord Venus and 12th lord Mercury are together with the Sun, it's still a really strong Dun yoga, because 8th house and the 12th house rulers don't actually upset any of the yogas as such. So although we're talking about intelligence and intellect at the moment, but I just wanted to point that out in terms of the Dana yoga and Raja yogas that are happening there. There is definitely not going to upset anything. They're not pure as such, but because they're impressionable houses, the 8th and 12th house, it's not going to damage them. However, if, say, for example, one of those planets rule the 6th house, then yes, it would definitely create issues. So, but this you can see, because it's the 9th lord and the 11th lord together, it actually is for intelligence, and they would intelligently pick the friends that they're with as well. Sun being quite, you know, in Sun in Capricorn is very gazes up, so it just means that they're very, very career minded. They're very very much about achieving. So that would be, I wouldn't see that as a bad thing. And because also 11th lord has gone into the 4th house, and it's an angle house, so that's quite strong. And Mercury is the 9th lord in the 4th house, creates again, you know, like a really good Raj yoga. So, and the first lord is in the 4th house, and actually that's probably the strongest one, because Venus is first lord in the 4th house in a friendly sign, and the actual dispositor for Venus is Saturn, that's strong in the 5th house. And not only that, Venus has got really nice directional strength in the 4th house. That's where it is really, really strong. So despite the fact that it is sitting in the same house, and Chris Rock probably has had issues in love because Sun and Venus are together, but nonetheless, though, you know, Venus is in a friendly house, sitting with a friend, so that actually really eases things for him. So that's Chris Rock, and let's now look at the next one. So let's have a look. So we've got George Clooney there. George Clooney is Aquarius ascendant, and he has got his 5th and 8th house ruler, Mercury, in the 3rd house with the Sun being the 7th ruler, exalted in the 7th house. So obviously Sun is creating a fantastic placement for him. And you can see artists, actors, singers, things like that, you know, entertainers, by looking at the 3rd house and 5th house. So yeah, so you can see, as you can see, absolutely that he is very, very much the very, you know, planet of intelligence, 7th lord in the 3rd house. So actually Sun is strong in the 3rd house. It's also malefic, so it can actually work really well there. And with Mercury, so Mercury is not terribly happy there, but it's also a trine lord as well, 5th lord. And being 8th lord, that doesn't take anything away from any sort of yogas. So we have like 7th and the 5th lord creating a really nice Raj yoga in the 3rd house. So that's pretty good. And it gives them immense amount of intelligence and intellect as well. So that's it, guys. So I just wanted to just say that. So if you ever see like Mercury and Sun together, they really are indicators of intelligence. But in certain houses, you know, I don't even think they're necessarily difficult if they fall into a difficult house, but if they rule a difficult house, that would definitely create issues, because Sun will help Mercury in a 6th house, for example, or in a 3rd house, because they're Upachaya houses. And normally Mercury does well in the 3rd and 6th anyway. But, you know, when they are actually like, they're in the 12th house or the 8th house, because for this or they rule them, I mean, more than anything, that will create a few issues, because I don't like the Sun. Actually, I don't think Sun does that well in the 12th house. Mercury is debilitated, so that's going to be a very, very difficult placement for both of them. But if one of them is the 12th house, it's still going to be difficult. So, but generally speaking, you know, Mercury does well in the 8th house, and Sun does well in any house apart from the 12th house. Sun is not very good. Sun is supposed to be like illuminating, and when it's in a secretive house, it's not very good. So, and also it's to do with the vitality, Sun in the 12th house. So if you have that in your chart, try to wear, you know, something Try to look, walk in the sun quite often. Take vitamin D. Vitamin D is excellent for actually sorting out sun's issues. And Om Nam, uh, Om Nam, which is like I quite like, any form of, like. Om is just such a nice way to do all these lovely mantras, but you can have a look and just see what form of mantras you like for the sun and use them. And you can also go on YouTube and find the sun mantra, and you can just have it in the background sometimes and listen to it. It will be really, really amazing. But generally speaking, though, it is very good for intelligence. Those people can really tackle any difficulties in life, like you can see in George Clooney's sign. Very, very strong. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I shall see you very, very. Before I go, actually, I just realized I didn't say what the mantra was. So it's Om Nam. Let me just actually. Sorry, just not that one. I'll put it on here. So Om Nam Surya Namaha. Say that as often as you can, really. Om Nam Surya Namaha. So that's really nice to connect. There are many, many more on YouTube or online. Find the one that you resonate with and say it. So that's lovely. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.